Never thought it could be like this.
The carved gybe, the blue ribbon of funboard maneuvers. It's fast, exciting, dynamic, and really not as difficult as many people would like to make out. The basic difference between this and the basic flare gybe is that in the carved gybe, the daggerboard is retracted and the board uses its own speed to turn, not with help from the rig. Just as a water skier banks his ski into the turn and a surfer banks his board into a wave, so the carved gyber tilts the board on its inside edge and it carves all the way through the turn. The rig only comes into play at the last part. Right, did you get that? No? Okay, we'll rewind it then. Of course, it's a lot more difficult backwards. Right, let's have a look. First of all, a good stance is essential, which means good speed. Then unhook from the harness and check the water to leeward and behind you for other water users. Then bear away, bring the weight inboard. The back foot is then placed on the leeward rail, ready to carve the board. The knees now drive forward and in. The weight is committed to the back foot, which engages the leeward rail. The arms are straight, the rig upright. The feet now change into their new positions in front of the straps to start with, and the sail is sheeted in so that you have power back in the sail and it can accelerate away as soon as possible. And then, once the board is planing, just hook into your harness and you're away. Right, if it's okay with you, we'll go on to something more difficult. Like to see it again? All right, let's break it down further and see what the feet are up to. The feet must be in the back strap to start with because that's the turning part of the board. Then, as you prepare to carve, bring the back foot out the strap and place it on the leeward rail, facing forward and in about 18 inches away from the front foot. The weight is now committed to that back foot and there it stays until you're 2/3 of the way through the turn and on your new broad reach. As the feet are changed, you note the front foot comes in front of the straps to start with to level the board out. Then as the board picks up speed, weight is taken on the rig and the front foot goes into the strap. And as you accelerate further, so you can move further back on the board. Now the knees. The knees are the driving force. They bring the weight to the inside of the turn and they always stay bent. See now how they drive to the inside of the turn. And they stay bent as you come out, because as the power comes back in the sail, there's always a risk you could get catapulted forward if you stand up. Now the arms. They must stay straight. If the arms stay straight, the rig is upright and therefore creating more power. And also there's a good distance between yourself and the rig for easy maneuvering. And you see too, as the carve is started, the rig is now upright and in fact leaning in a little. There's no chance of getting tied up with the rig change and you can plane away without loss of balance. Now the rig change itself often causes a lot of problems, mainly through hesitation and lack of commitment. Once again, if the arm stays straight and there's a good distance between yourself and the rig, you have every chance of coming out alive. Notice now, once the turn is completed, the backhand releases off the boom to spill the power, is placed on the mast, then draws the rig across the body until the new backhand can sheet in its normal place. As it does so, the front hand joins it and immediately you're back in your sailing position with very little loss of speed. It's a common fault that people actually get left behind when the board starts to carve, so have good weight distribution, as here, over the windward rail as you enter the turn. Then as the board starts to accelerate and you bear away, bring your weight inboard over the centre line so you're ready to carve. There it is. Now as the knees start to thrust into the turn, the body should go with it, so you're actually banking in, so that your weight is totally committed inside. Then as the board comes through the turn, you start to stand up And then as you sheet in, naturally you lean out to windward again to counteract the pull in the sail, as here. Now on short boards the rules change slightly, although the basic techniques are the same. Firstly, the board is travelling faster, so you must stay with it and keep your weight over the board and press further forward. Also, the turning characteristics of a shortboard mean that it's more likely to carve a turn by itself without any help from the rig, so you can afford, as here, to release the rig very early and then sheet in on the other side before changing the feet. Because of the board's speed, you'll notice that you can release the rig and it becomes very light. This makes for a very fluid transition. As you see, you're coming out on the plane. The progression from here is to go for the boom to boom, and this is only possible if you've got good board speed. As you come downwind, the rig is almost weightless. You can flip it round and catch it, and then plane away. If you're having trouble committing your weight to the inside, then try this outrageously posy trick of simply stroking the water with the backhand before changing the rig. That means you have to have your weight committed to the inside. Common faults like here include bending the arms and killing the power, so that you come out with very little speed. Or as here, a too high boom in an upright position means the board starts to bounce around. And like here too, straight legs also cause manoeuvring problems. But most of all, make sure when you jibe you look where you're going.